Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be talking to you today about plastic-free communities and the work we do at Sewage. But I thought I'd just really quickly start, so I know we want to hear from some of our communities that do the work on the ground. But I'll just talk a little bit about where I came from and how I got into working on plastics. I spent around 20 years in the conservation sector, and 15 years of that was working in marine mammal rescue down in Cornwall. But for the last 3 years, I'm a communities officer at Sewage, and I help run the Plastic Free Communities campaign. But firstly, I wanted to just talk a little bit about Sewage and what we do. So Sewage are a movement of people connected by a love of the water. Originally, we were set up in the 1990s by a group of Cornish surfers in St Agnes in Cornwall, who were just really fed up about swimming in poo and other bathroom products where they love to surf. And they originally operated out of a camper van and St Agnes Village Hall. Now today, we're very much still very true to our roots. We're still in St Agnes in Cornwall, but we now work at a national level, and we've got around 50 staff. And today we are more than surfers, and it's about much more than sewage. So I will confess that I'm not a surfer, but I am a water user, so I love hard swimming. Also live by the coast, my children love hard swimming too, so that's my connection to the ocean. But we do believe that we are all connected to the ocean, whether we live near it or not, or whether we feel like we're connected to the ocean or not. We do believe that we are all connected to the ocean in some way. So Sewage, we work across sewage and plastic pollution campaigns, and we create ocean activists everywhere, and they can advocate and campaign for a thriving ocean and thriving people, because we cannot have one without the other. And through our campaigns, our advocacy, our research, our communities, we demand the change that we need to achieve our vision of a healthy ocean for everyone. So what is Plastic Free Communities? So Plastic Free Communities really is a grassroots community campaign, and our communities are the power behind our campaigns at Sewage. They run our citizen science campaigns, and they take action on the ground that we can use to leverage change at the top. And they also connect with local politicians on the ground as well. So we use that local grassroots action to then take that to national policymakers, where we can demand progressive legislation and policy change. Now, hopefully, we empower our communities too. Maybe we're hearing from some of them, hopefully, I can say that. We empower them to take action in their own communities with training and support, and a really clear framework of work around plastic communities, which I'll talk a little bit about later as well. And together, as a movement, we can show that a lot of people care about blue and green spaces, and there is a mandate for change. So Plastic Communities is a nationwide people-powered movement dedicated to breaking free from single-use plastic and stopping its production for good. So we unite and fire up individuals, businesses and organisations to fight back against single-use plastics with clear actions and steps to make a real difference in the areas that we live. So we're going after the source, and we're calling out the polluters that are keeping us trapped in a single-use system. And we started Plastic Communities in 2017, and it did look very different back then. We had the Blue Planet effect, and in 2017 it did skyrocket. And now we're really strong movement still, we're still growing. But it does look very different now. Plastic free is much more talked about, and I think we're really proud of where we are today and where the movement as a whole, and the fact that we're here today is true that it's very much strong and going. So we'll talk a bit about how we create action with plastic communities. And then we work on the top offenders. Some of you in the business one earlier, I talked a little about what are the top offenders. And it's not about all plastics, it's about tackling that single-use throwaway plastic system. and focusing on the top offenders, which we see time and time again on our beaches, in our green spaces, and polluting our communities. And some of these are here. I'm not going to read through all of them because I'm preaching to you guys probably know about all of these. So these are things like you've got single-use sachets, you've got your carrier bags, your food and drink packaging, your food containers, your coffee cups, plastic bottles. So it's not about all plastics, it's about these top items that really are the root cause of the problem. So how we work, the way we work is all through the 5-step toolkit. Now I've seen firsthand, like through marine mammal work, the devastating impacts that plastic pollution can have on marine animals. I've seen things that really sort of shock me, and years of working in that space, I felt quite powerless to know how to make a difference. Like, this is awful, this is happening. How am I going to make a difference to do it? And that's when I came to plastic-free communities. And I'm actually the KT myself from Plastic Free Falmouth down in Cornwall, and I've been doing that for around 4 years as well. But this is where the Plastic-Free Communities Toolkit comes in, because it creates a really clear 5-step plan that communities can use to take back power and to create change in their own communities, where maybe the systems that can create change are failing us. We can create change ourselves from a grassroots level up and create pressure at the same time. And we create a strong foundation of grassroots movement which we can then build on and scale together as well. So the first step is that our communities work with their local council to pass a plastic-free communities motion, and that motion must state that the council will work to reduce single-use plastics within their operations and premises. And the second one does support plastic-free initiatives, whether that be plastic-free communities or other plastic-free initiatives, and that they'll also put a member of their council on a steering group that will work for plastic-free communities as well. Now, the second step is that communities work with local businesses. So we have a Plastic Free Champion Award, where businesses can work to reduce single-use plastics within their businesses. And based on population levels, a community will work with a certain amount of businesses to get them awarded. And they also sign up community allies, and community allies can be anyone from local organisations to community groups, or anyone in the community really. And they have an option of signing a pledge, but really their role in the network is creating that network of people all working together for the same cause. So they help our communities, they help share the message, and they collaborate in a whole host of other ways. So I'm constantly blown away by all the different ways our businesses and our allies link up with our communities to help them create change. So it's pretty fantastic when the network all comes together. So as well as that, our communities run lots of events, and this includes beach cleans. So our communities, one of our drivers of our Mini Mile Clean and collecting data for our citizen science projects and our brand audits, where we call out the biggest polluters. They run stalls, they run awareness events, they run fundraisers. They run massive wraps where we go into supermarkets and unwrap the plastic there and leave it there in an awareness and protest event. So yeah, our communities, and I'm going to say this a lot, are awesome, and I'm completely blown away by all of the work they do, and some of them are here today, so do go and have a chat with them. And then the last step is they form a group, and this steering group helps direct them in their activities and their campaigns, helping them to achieve the Plastic Free Communities Award. And the journey doesn't stop there once they achieve the award. Really, that's, they've laid the foundations for change. And it's up to them to then build on that and create change year on year. And we support them through that. So I'm so incredibly proud of everything our communities do. And I'm blown away all the time by all the work that we see. So yeah, this is just an example of the model of how we work. So it's a grassroots approach, pushing up to the top, and hopefully then influencing politicians, brands, and consumers. But I will say it is the politicians and the brands that we are focusing on. And as consumers, we have real power, but it's also not just about us. It's not up to us to fix the problem. It's up to the brands and the polluters. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about people. I may have turned it off, but who knows. So yeah, I mean, obviously everyone here has probably heard about the Global Plastics Treaty failed to be ratified. And it might seem that we don't have any power and that the systems that we have are changing completely failures. But we do have hope. There could be a strong treaty in the future, and there's never been a better time to come together and use our collective voice. And again, the fact that we're here is really a beacon of hope for me personally as well. So I thought I'd just go through some of the ways which our communities are out there using their collective voices. These are some of the impacts that we've had over the years. So we've got about 300 councils that have passed the plastic free motion, and we've got a network of 600 communities across the UK. We are one of the UK's biggest plastic free movements. And as I said before, we've got about 6,000 plastic free champions working to reduce single-use plastics. And it's growing every day. So some of the ways that our communities can use their collective voice is by getting involved on email cleans. And this year alone, we've had 230 odd and counting cleans done by our communities. And the really important part of that is the citizen science and collecting data, because we collect data on brands as well as items, so it means that we can call out the biggest polluters. And we released a brand audit report. We released one in 2023, and the next one will be coming soon. So do look out for that. And that calls out the polluters. And yeah, it's really quite shocking, and they're usually similar polluters every year. Another campaign we did in Cornwall, which was swimming in plastic, where we actually released the brand audit results in the swimming pool filled with 1 week's worth of plastic bottles used in Penzance, and we filled the entire swimming pool, and then we had a synchronised swimming team jump in there and display the brand audit results of all of the top polluters. And I personally say we had to hand wash every single bottle, and there were about 20,000 bottles that we washed. Yeah, I still can't drink milk. Yeah, but it was a fantastic show of what we can do as communities and how much awareness we can raise when we all work together, because this involved quite a lot of our Cornish communities, including Plastic Free Penzance, Plastic Free Falmouth, and quite a few others in Cornwall. So it's a show that, you know, it is scalable. We can come together and make really cool stuff happen. One of our campaigns this year is the People versus Plastic. And we had a protest event on the 19th of July where we had over 20 protests all across the country, and many more cleans going on at the same time, where we collected evidence for our plastics report, which is coming very soon. So we had around 300 people do human chain in Penzance. We had mermaids on the beach, we had choirs in Weston and Mare, we had beach teams in Wales, and all sorts. So it was all across the country, a national effort. And people, hopefully you'll hear more about the People versus Plastic campaign as we ramp up campaigning for this year and the next. And we will be putting much more pressure on the polluting brands and supermarkets and the government to create much change much faster. So getting involved. So usually I talk a little bit about what we do to be plastic free, but I'm definitely going to be preaching to the choir there, because I'm sure you guys know this already. But one thing I will say, and I think Will said it at the beginning of the conference, is be loud. Send that email. If you're annoyed about something, send the email, complain through like official company complaints procedures. Obviously don't go and shout at the people at the tills. But if you're annoyed about something, shout about it, because if we're all doing it, that really, really makes a difference. Sign petitions. You can never sign enough petitions. Yeah, write emails, write letters. Okay. Use your sphere of influence. So think about where your sphere of influence is. You know, people that are at school. Could you direct them to plastic-free schools or plastic-clever schools? Do you know any local businesses? Can you tell them about the Plastic Free Champion scheme? Do you know any people that want to get involved more? Could you direct them to plastic communities to see if they want to sign up their community? Advocate for plastic free alternatives. You see something cool, share it online. And I think we all have immense power into consumers to buy great demand and to share really cool stuff that we find. So some of the ways that you can get involved with plastic-free communities is we have a couple of so you can sign up as a business, you can sign up as an individual, which gives you some more sort of individual action plans of how to tackle plastics in your own life. And you can also sign up as a school as well. And you can sign up to run your own community. And actually universities as well can sign up to be a community in their own right. So they follow pretty much the same toolkit but just amended for them. So really, yeah, because it's nice to share the message far and wide. And I think now I'll hand over to the communities to talk about the work that they do and what that looks like on the ground.
Thank you so much for that. That was really insightful. The pictures were really cool as well, particularly like the one with the synchronized swimmers being in the pool. Was that at Penzance, did you say, or it was?
Yeah, that was at the Jubilee, is it Jubilee Pool, Jubilee Wharf in Penzance, yeah, an outdoor sea pool.
Wow, yeah, really cool. I think one of the kind of common threads from a lot of the groups that have been here today, including plastic-free communities, is a lot of this change is brought about through grassroots mobilisation and people coming together. I think it's actually that's what we are enacting today by coming together to hear from different people, network, collaborate together. Which brings us on really nicely to our next guest speaker, which is Helen Tandy from Eco Communities, to talk about plastic-free gathering. Hey, oh no, sorry. That's it. Yeah, she's going. Helen is. I'll let Helen introduce her, but she's a partner and ethical financial advisor at Castlefield. And in her spare time, she helps Cheshire to become plastic-free communities. And she's the Cheshire community representative. She also works on the refill she works the refill campaign for us with the City to See we've heard about. So Helen's going to be talking about all the amazing things that she's achieved in her community. So over to you. Thank you, Helen.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. A bit of background about me and Eco Communities. And so, like many organisations, we set ourselves up as a community interest company in 2018, partly with the encouragement from the council, that's Cheshire West Council for us, so that we could apply for certain pots of funding for them. And we were founded in 2019, so we actually started campaigning before that. So we did Straw-Free Chester was the very first campaign we did. And then we moved on to do Plastic-Free Chester 2017, I think it possibly was. It's quite early days in the campaigning. We achieved Plastic-Free Chester in 2018. And then the plan was to sort of carry on in that space. And so we founded Eco Communities. It's managed on a voluntary basis by people who are really passionate about the planet locally. And I've got a little star there. So I've put a little note saying our directors all have full-time jobs, and that's what I've always used to say. And nobody takes an income out of Eco Community. So we're very much a local, voluntary in our spare time type organisation. And the star is really just because I've been in a lucky position in a way that I'm a partner in a business, as mentioned, giving ethical advice. And the partnership allowed me to go down to 3 days effect from the 1st of September. And so that means that I've now got 2 days that I can concentrate on Eco Communities, because it was leaking very much into a lot, my life in a way that I basically didn't do anything else other than work and do Eco Communities. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more going forward. I've took a rep for Surfers Against for City to See off there. So again, I've been a rep for City to See, very early days. I'm a Surfers Against Sewage plastic-free champion and a rep for Surfers Against Sewage. I'm also a sustainability speaker and a carbon literacy trainer, which are things that I'm going to do within Eco Communities as well. We redid our website just over a year ago, and basically on there I've got the little my video over the top of it. We do lots of projects, but most of them are in the plastic-free space, to be fair. So we do obviously in line with what Emma's just been saying, we do community cleans. We also have litter pick hubs. We're involved in Refill Cheshire. Party kits, we've just gone into the party kit network. We have event reusables. We support events on sustainability with Cup Hire. Like lots of other organisations, we have struggled with our reusable cup scheme as well. So it's been really good listening to some of the stories today on that in that space. And I don't feel quite as depressed about that as I have been. But we're actually now starting to, which is partly why I need more time. We're working on a lot more projects now. So we've sort of gone into the sort of sustainable food space, working with the council and consultancy. And actually more recently, we've started supporting Surface Against Sewage with the sewage in our waterway. So Chester are trying to go for bathing water status. And so we've been supporting that campaign. So I'm just noticed I've got, oh yeah. So yeah, we do lots and lots of work. You know, our ambition very much in the plastic free side is to get as many local schools, businesses and organisations signed up as possible. And the thing that we sort of perhaps did that was different was that once we did plastic free Chester, what we then decided to do was start supporting other regions, other places in Cheshire. Because I think what I found from going on a lot of the rep meetings was that what would happen is that somebody would start a project where they live on their own. They would work really, really hard. I mean, and some of the people I've met over the years have been such huge campaigners, but sometimes they might burn themselves out. And then what might happen is that region then doesn't move forward. And we've had a particular region in Cheshire that was being managed through a really fantastic campaigner that was started before me. Then the bid took over the region, and only recently we managed to bring that into our fold. And although we've not done a lot of work yet, we try and find somebody local that wants to be involved. But then what we do is a lot of the hand holding along with that. And so we've been really lucky to have helped Neston get accreditation and Tatton Hall get accreditation in our region. And we're very, very much going for plastic free Cheshire. Put my little logo there, plastic free Cheshire West. And also we've been supporting some of our businesses that did the very original plastic free Chester to go for their silver and gold accreditations as well. And again, hopefully I'll be able to do more of that with the extra time that I've got. We do lots of community cleans throughout the region, and we're starting to find the numbers are picking up. Our community cleans pre-lockdown would get 30, 40, 50 people, and until we're just about starting to get a reasonable number of people coming back to those again now. We also, one of the very first funded projects was the Litter Pick Hubs. And that was supposed to be a 3-year project where we put litter pick equipment around the region for the community to use. And the council gave us all the money up front and made us spend it all up front. And that created us with an interesting problem in that we've then had to, which I've been paying for until very recently, get a storage unit to put everything in. We're still getting towards the end of that now, and we've still got quite a bit of equipment, but nowhere near as much as we had. That we planned to get the litter pick hubs out around over a 3-year period, and then all of a sudden we've got all of the equipment on day one, which is fun. We just put one out very recently, which was really nice to do, and we really need to redo our branding on those. But they're great. People just they're locked or in a business, and there's a QR code which gives them the code, and then there's litter pickers, hoops, bags, and everything, and instructions on what they get instructions on what to do. And we've got a really good relationship with the council where the litter is just left at a council bin. We have a certain colour of litter pin bag that they know any sideways in a white bag in our region is from a litter pick, from a community litter pick. We also have a mobile litter pick hub, which also needs rebranding, that gets pulled by my bike. And Rianne, who runs our litter pick project now in the group, she's got a little game as well, which we've had lots of fun at parties as well as when we do stalls sometime. So she's managed to recreate our litter pick hubs in miniature version. So we have at some events done the miniature litter pick games, which has gone down quite well. We also, for a while now, have had event reusable. So we've been really lucky enough to get funding from various places like Biffa and that sort of thing. We've got pints, half pints, coffee cups, and most recently some funding to get some wine glasses. And so we'd love them to get used more than they do, to be fair, but they do get used at lots of community events. And we've got a brochure as well, a guide of how events can manage those hot and cold beverages at events. Some of the councils use, rather than single-use cups around our region, our town council, should I say, use our coffee cups for events around the region as well, which is really good. We've just got a party kit. So we originally had, I keep being asked to do my survey, but we've not really pushed it yet. And so we had 20 lots of units. We've just doubled that up. So we've got 40 because of the community centre that are keen to use it. We're not really looking to make money on this. We really just want families to swap single-use items for reusables, and we're part of the Party Kid network on that one as well. So that's one of our a new gazebo. And so what we basically try and encourage people to do is, they come when we're at an event, they collect their cup from us and then drop it off the return of a cup later. And it depends what the event is, whether or not there's a deposit on that or not. This event that we did here, it was very closed door, and so we didn't have a deposit on it. The cups were actually at the bar, but we did get the cups returned to us, which was absolutely fine. Just some facts which won't go, again, these will get shared. We do have an sustainable event planning guide, which we encourage the town councils and councillors and businesses to read, which again promotes our reusables, but also lots and lots of other information as well. And this has been the bane of my life. This is our reusable cup scheme. We were already aware of lots of the problems that they talked about in Scotland, and we started this on quite a low budget. We'd already gone for funding. I can't remember if it was before lockdown. I think it was, and it was a scheme that we sort of had to go ahead with, even though we started over time seeing some schemes were struggling. When we came out of lockdown, we couldn't really do it on the original project plan that we had. Businesses really weren't wanting to do deposit return. And so we set it up as a club. And so people pay £2.50, they join the club. That's a donation to eco communities. That doesn't get paid back. And then the idea is that they use the cups, they prove that they're in the scheme, and they use the cup and drop it back. And we are trying to look at some technology, but our main issue has been exactly like I've heard stories about today, which has been very much about the businesses, the staff training, the staff turnover, and just not asking about the scheme. And also people who are members of the scheme, of the cup club, going in asking, and the staff member not knowing anything about it. So I do need to decide what the next step is for it. We found it much more, it working much better in a smaller place called Winsford, where the businesses tend to be run by the owner. They tend to be in the business very often, most days. And it's very much local people using those cafes, and whereas Chester's very tourist, and that scheme's actually seems to be going much better than we found in Chester. So that's the Cheshire Cup Club. Those cups, we've got lots of those cups, and what the good thing is, they do get used at lots of events. So I think this was a picture from Winsford's, one of Winsford's big council meetings that they had the public coming to, and everything, rather than single use, which is what they used to do, everything was served in reusables. We started a blister pack scheme 12 months ago, which is going a little bit too well because we just don't have the funding to keep it going. We have had, you know, we are aware of places like Boots that are doing the scheme, which have got, it's quite restrictive. And we've also got lots of regions in Cheshire West where it's not easy to get into some of the locations where, like the Boots, we've only got 1-2 Boots in the region. And so we've got quite a lot of rural locations. And that's one of the councillors who collected from the scheme that we got some funding to set for him up, collecting 4 bags of blister packs. And we've just been a bit overwhelmed by the number of blister packs that we are managing to collect in the locations we've got. And so we are having more chats with the council about how we can keep it happening, but it not cost eco communities money, because, you know, unless we get funding, we don't have any money. And all of our councillors have spent all of their funding at the moment until, I don't know, sometime next year, it seems. I've been listening to some of the stories about this. We are thinking we'd be having that extra time of, we've no zero waste stores now. We've got one in the region that does a lot more than just, it's, you know, it's a village shop as well as doing a lot of reusables. And other than that, there's nothing else. And so we are thinking, I might have some chats with a few people about doing, we've been talking to Phil about perhaps doing a liquids only scheme, but very much on that home drop off, so a milkman type scheme in quite a tight area in Chester. So we're looking at that very much at the moment. We run an event once a year called Chester Green Weekend as well, which covers lots and lots of different areas. And I think that's about my end slide. And obviously at those events, we of course use our reusables, which are really basic. We fell foul years ago, well pre-COVID, on our original version, which was co-branded with a business that then didn't actually pay for them. And so we've made it very much today, you know, we don't want people taking these home, so it's very much just order, drink, return. So there's no branding on it. It's not looking pretty. We just want them back at the end of the day. And that's us. So there's some contact details. And obviously Greg's going to share the slide. If anyone's got any queries or questions about what we've been doing, more than happy to chat. And that is me.
Thanks so much, Helen. Yeah, it's incredible what, absolutely amazing what you're achieving. Just like, you know, this is absolutely incredible, like volunteers. Absolutely, you know, incredible what change you're making there, and just think the ripple effect that you're making in not just Chester, but Cheshire. So it's really exciting. So thank you for doing what you're doing in your spare time. That's incredible. So amazing. So I'm going to invite Debbie to here now. So hi, Debbie. Debbie is the plastic-free lead for plastic-free Weston Supermare. She's worked in nearly 40 years of banking, and she didn't have any knowledge of plastic pollution until the video of her turtle having a plastic straw from its nose. And in conversation with a local business inspired her to act. And so over the past 8 years, Debbie has been involved in a growing community movement and active voice in environmental action locally. So Debbie, over to you to kind of talk about what you've been doing in Weston.
Thanks, Greg. That's a nice introduction, and I can mirror what Helen was saying and Emma about plastic-free communities here in Weston-super-Mare and around North Somerset, where we're based. It's been a big journey for me. Like I say, I've got no conservation, no knowledge or background about anything to do with plastics. And it all started in 2017 for me with the turtle with a straw up its nose. And then a friend of mine who was running a refill shop said to me, oh, wouldn't it be nice if Weston could go for a Plastic-Free Communities Award, having seen an article in a paper. And we're very, we're not constituted as a business at all. We've got no bank accounts, everything's self-funded. So we don't go through anything formally. It's very informal here. But the 2017 absolutely changed my life, starting with that and I can't thank Natalie and City to See enough either, because that was such an inspiration for me. And I went to see the Albatross film in Bristol, and God, I was traumatized by that. It really made me think about what we are doing as humans to the planet. So then I went on a few beach cleans, then became a plastic-free community lead. And it's just gone from there. We work with the councils here have been absolutely amazing, to be honest. And I think we've been really lucky compared with what I hear from other places sometimes. They've they've taken the lead and supported us continually from the very start. And everyone, I'm on social media. I don't like it particularly, but I always end up on there. Everyone's in our area, and I'm sure we're not the same, has an opinion on litter and bins. It's the one thing everyone can shout and complain about all the time. So to get our message out that we are wasting so much money because of the single-use plastic that we have to end up paying for as residents in our council tax. And it's not always the council's fault that they can't clean up the streets every day in every street on the across North Somerset. They can't do that. We can lead people to help set up their own plastic-free and litter picking groups. So we've got several of those. The council have got one of their litter picking schemes. It's an adopt a street scheme where people can adopt their own street and do their own litter picking that way. And it raises awareness of the amount of plastic. In the community, this morning I was at a new community festival we had here in Weston, which was a recovery festival. So it's the first time they've done it here. So this is all being part of the community. They do a recovery walk and they wanted to do a litter pick on the walk. So I was invited to go along and start the litter pick. I'd never met any of them before. That's a whole new group of people. And I've now been invited to go and talk to the recovery group, and we will do a litter pick from there where they meet. And I've sort of said to them, almost litter picking's almost addictive. So it's something that can replace what's missing from their addictive lives if they can go out and litter pick and help the environment, and they're all very keen on that. So that's just one thing this morning. I'm doing talks in the week. I've got rainbows and brownies on Wednesday evening that I shall be going out with doing litter picks. So, and then next Saturday our MP has started a new campaign, and he's asked all businesses and schools and community groups to let him know where the grot spots, if you like, all the horrible grot spots in the area are, and then we will attack them. So we will work in tandem with the MP. The day after he got elected, he sent me a WhatsApp saying, "I'll be in touch soon." This is the community. I would never have been involved in anything like that before in my life, since we became part of the plastic-free community group. We've joined up with artists. I think they are a tremendous resource to have. I'm not at all creative, but when they do something, they bring in the whole community. They can make something engaging for people. Like when I used to go out and do my stand, I used to have just a table with leaflets and things, which wasn't that engaging. I thought it was interesting, but lots of people just walk past. They don't like to stop and pick up a leaflet. You get artists involved, and like Helen just said with her miniature sort of hubs, litter hubs and things like that. We now do litter picking games and things, so little kiddies can go along with a stick and pick up and pretend whether they put it in this bowl or that bowl. So it's all raising awareness and being engaging. We're just about to open a new the Old Town Quarry here in Weston, and that's all been given over. And top of the list when the consultations went out, what was important, the most important thing was the environment. Everyone that filled in the consultation, I think it was about 80–90%, said they wanted the environment and it to be plastic free and all things like that. So the fact we've been working over the last 8 years has made such a difference, I think. And you can't yeah, you can't take away what people are raising awareness, where 8 years ago, why are you wanting to reduce single-use plastic? Now it's, how can we reduce single-use plastic? I was looking before I came on here, we had 46 businesses when we first did our first submission for plastic-free Weston Super Mare. I was looking at them, 20 of those businesses have either closed or sold to other people. So that's nearly half the businesses. That's in the last 8 years. I think that shows how perilous businesses are. And we, I also sit on the Chamber of Commerce Committee. So it's interesting to hear from local businesses, their challenges, and we all work together. Really interesting to hear about the cup schemes and things. I've had the businesses on the seafront, the concessions. What can we do about cups? What are the best ones? Which ones can be recycled? And I have to go back and say, well, we don't actually know. Cups are a big issue nationwide. And they're saying, well, how can we change that? And they will be very interested to hear what the cup lady was saying. So in Scotland, Miriam, I think it was. So that kind of thing, it's how can we all work together? So everyone's, instead of me going out to them, they're coming to me now, and different community groups coming to me. Schools, we've got this new school year starting. I shall be expecting the teachers to get in touch with me now and saying, oh, can you come out and do your talk? Because they've got new intake of schools and things. So it's just being part of the community. I'm also sit on various steering groups across town, and I also sit on the bathing water steering group, which is a really, really useful one. And another steering group I get involved with is it's a zero carbon North Somerset type thing. So it's chaired by the council, but it's the attendees are all different groups across North Somerset. So we all share information. We've got repair cafes here. We've got the party kit people. It's not something I do or our group specifically does, but there's all these different groups in Weston that all come together now. And another one we were talking about this morning, somebody wants to set up where you upcycle clothes and put patches on clothes and that kind of thing. So all that kind of thing we all work together with, and I find the community aspect of this, and a lot of people that be part of community groups and different groups within the town, you quite often meet the same people and they're all wearing different hats. So it's quite interesting. There is a nucleus, I think. We've got about 90,000 people in Weston, but there is quite a nucleus of people that are interested in the environment that you see in a lot of different places. But we can make a difference, and we can also show others how they can make a difference. Again, at the Recovery Festival, we were talking today about how just doing one little thing. We can't do everything at once. That's like Natalie said. You can't do everything at once, but we can do what we can do and all join together and really be part of a community. And that's, like I said, we've got two islands out in the Bristol Channel here, and we've got one of them is a big gull colony, and I went to a meeting with the wardens from the island, and they showed us photographs of the gulls out on the colony there that they'd found dead, and they'd seen plastic inside of them there. So it's not just millions of miles away in Midway in the Pacific, but it's happening right here outside. And that's what we can share with our community allies. When I go to schools, I tell them that they've seen the islands, and that really is, it brings it home to what we're doing here locally and how locals can be we can all do something. We can all do whatever we can do ourselves. I've done talks to the blind, I've done talks to the deaf. Everyone can do something. It doesn't matter where you are. We're all part of one community, and I think that's what comes across when we're doing stuff in town. It's our community, and we're the ones that want to make it better. And that's us, really. So I say it's all very informal, but we do it.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah, incredible what you can achieve, and just and that's the thing. These are all volunteers, and
Yeah.
this is power of kind of getting together in your community to kind of make change. And yeah, without volunteers, like all the plastic free communities.
Mhm. And
So
like Helen was saying, I used to work full time and was juggling everything everywhere, and I now work 3 days a week. So, but my other 2 days, I mean, my day and nights are filled up with doing this. So it's made a huge, it's changed my life totally. But I've made so many friends, and from it, I can't believe it. It's amazing how it goes forward.
absolutely. No, it's really great, really inspiring. Does anyone have any questions for anyone? I realise we're probably going to be finishing the event about 6:15 or so, or maybe between 6:15 and 6:30 now. So I'm really sorry things have dragged, moved on, but it's so incredibly inspiring to hear all these incredible stories. So I just wanted to flag that as a sort of, we're going to be closing the session very soon and hearing from Steve and Dan. But does anyone have any kind of points to raise or anything they want to mention about anything?
Hi there, I'm JW from Infinite. No questions, just to say, super inspiring and yeah, insightful and motivating. So congratulations.
Amazing, yeah, and I almost think as well, I think Certainty Against Sewage used to have plastic-free awards. I feel like we need to bring these plastic-free awards, and we need to have this plastic-free gathering, and the plastic-free award should celebrate, all of it, because there are some amazing people doing some great things out there.
Oh my God, there are, and yes, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, I think all of our community leads and volunteers that work on our campaigns deserve all of the awards for the work they do. Debbie, you made me a bit emotional there to hold it in, but yeah, we're eternally grateful for all the work that you all do. So thank you. Hopefully we say it enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for you three. Thank you so much, and feel free to stay around. I'm going to bring Stephen down onto the call for the last session of the day. So thank you so much, everyone.